Okay, Grace, we should be good to go.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Well, I want to welcome everybody here to this beautiful July 2016 evening. I'm not sure where you're calling in from, but we've got people from all across North America on this call tonight, even as far away as Maui, and we're in Hawaii. And we just want to welcome everybody. This is really a special time to be listening on these Maximize Mondays. We're hearing and learning some great information. Tonight we have a 500K that is going to come on and introduce our guest speaker tonight. I want to just let you know that I have come to admire this couple, particularly because of the leadership they provide and their technical savviness that they have inspired us all to participate in. Certainly, most of you know them. They have built an incredible business and are true examples of what residual income can really look like. And specifically for baby boomers who are looking for a better retirement and an amazing lifestyle, it gives me great pleasure tonight to introduce Sandy Cohen, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sandy, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Grace, for that delightful welcome. And, you know, it's interesting how I have the pleasure tonight. Hang on one second while I mute my phone. Oh, my goodness. I apologize. Okay, the phone's never stopped. I thought I had muted it out. But it's our absolute delight tonight to interview someone who has become a good friend. And what's really interesting about our profession is that everybody has a story. Nobody wakes up one day and says, oh, I think I'm going to join a network marketing company because I have nothing else to do. Most of us have stuff happen. And as most of you know, our story, if you've been around a little while, and if you're brand new or you're a guest on the call, just a quick Reader's Digest, at the age of 52 years old, Eddie and I were $450,000 in debt from our businesses that we sold to buyers who defaulted. And even though we won in court, the only winners were the attorneys. So what do you do at 52? How in the world do you build your life back again? Because our story is the opposite of most, not rags to riches, but riches to rags and back again. And it's our delight tonight to have a conversation with a couple that has a very, very similar story. They have had it all, they've lost it, and they've gotten it back again. And that's the beauty of this business. It offers people hope. So no matter where you are, if you're wanting a better way of life and better finances, when you see what Zango has to offer, there will be no doubt that you can be unstoppable. So tonight, Cindy and Steve Hall are with us. And Steve, welcome to our call.
Sandy, thank you very much, and thanks for that kind introduction. And it's so true what you said, and I have so much admiration for you and Ed. And when I first heard your story, because it is so true, and like you say, we go across the stage and we get a lot of applause, and people look up to you, but they don't realize all the things you went through. And you were quite an inspiration to me. And when you, the pictures I seen when we first were introduced to Zango, and a lot of similar things that happened to the one that put Maximize Monday. You and Colleen, Carolyn, and Grace is, you know, we have a lot of similar backgrounds, and it's nice for the brand new person to realize that you weren't just born to 100K or 200K or 500K. So you're inspiration to all of us.
Well, thank you, Steve. And you know, share with the listeners, because many don't know your story, about a little bit about your background, what you did professionally before you decided to wake up and become a professional network marketer. What did you do before that?
Well, probably similar to a lot of people, Sandy. We, you get out of school, and I was kind of a confused kid. I didn't know what wanted to do. I went about a year and a half to college, and I did a number of different things. And I was first introduced to sales. I kind of got into sales and marketing, and then I had a manufacturing business, and I had some different partnerships and similar things like what you talked about, some ups and downs, and you kind of pay the price. You're searching around for where you want to go, what direction you want to go into, and then I was introduced, like a lot of people, to Amway. Like I said again, I was married and just starting out, and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and I was introduced to. I still consider a great mentor of mine. I talk to him several times a year, but I was introduced to the Big A for a couple months. And then I've only really been in 3 major companies. I was in, for some of the ones that's been around for a while, Old World, and then Prepaid Legal, and then I was introduced to Zango. And so that's really kind of my career there. But I had some good mentors that it didn't always start out great, but I think, from the experience, and one thing I always kind of look back, but the kids, I've had put so much emphasis on my 2 kids that they were going to finish school no matter what. Like Bob Schmidt said one time, if he could have a stay-at-home mom, he would have done everything but rob banks. And I wanted to make sure my kids had a college education, no matter if I had to rob banks or whatever. But I look back, and I got a compliment from my daughter one time saying that, Dad, you made more money than most of us without getting the college degree. But I still have a lot of respect for people with the educational degree, whether it comes from a college or it comes from a degree in MLM, network marketing.
And when you finally figured it out, you did pretty well in prepaid legal, didn't you? But something happened. Something devastating happened. Can you share some of that with the listeners?
Well, it's Sandy. It's about like all the calls. I don't know how you were first introduced, but had some good luck in the first one. But then a few things happen internally, because the stars have to line up. You have to have the perfect product, or not necessarily perfect, but one's unusual. You have to have the right management team. Sometimes, as we all know, they go astray. So I got out of that, and I happened to be into a manufacturing injection molding, and I was making water filter systems. And P.S., it wasn't NSA; it was our own company. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, NSA." No, it was Philmark International, and a friend come along with another great story. He found, I don't want to use the word religion, but you know how they come posting at you one time, and told me about prepaid legal. And we were right at the point in our life where we were just working all kind of hours. Cindy was running a beauty salon. She was working there, and then we were building, I was selling water filters during the day and putting them together and assembling them at night, and she would come work and things like that. So when it came along with prepaid legal, we really got pretty excited. It made a lot of sense, and we were pretty successful with that. We started out, we become an EBQ with that, and then we were area coordinator, and then we went all the way up to platinum, which is similar to a 200K or 500K, and then we become a regional vice president. And with prepaid legal, and we were averaging over 2,000 memberships a month. I think our best month was like 2,407 memberships in 30 days. That's pretty good. And so we moved to Florida, and Cindy's always wanted to come to Florida, and we had our house for sale, and I lived in Canton, Ohio, and we got married out in a little town, Canal Fulton, close to the Football Hall of Fame, and we ended up down, like I said, down here in the World Golf Hall of Fame, and was doing great, just like you and Ed, in your business, and you're spending money, and we're building a house, and I'll take one of these, and I'll take one of them, and then Cindy wanted to know how much one of these and one of them is going to cost. And then all of a sudden I had the bright idea with another regional vice president of another company to go in and start our own legal service business. And like you said, Sandy, it didn't take too long, borrowing the money here, there, running credit cards, this, that you went from that making them $20,000 and $30,000 a month checks down to I started working for my sister-in-law for $10 an hour. And Cindy went and set in model homes, and so all that stock options and all that fun time disappeared, and it got a little scary.
And Zango. Zango came into your life. Everybody has a story of how they were introduced to Zango. And we all know the billions of dollars that our Zango juice has sold, but how were you introduced to Zango?
Well, fortunately, things happen for a reason. I really believe they happen for a reason. If you're doing something the right way, or you take the self-interest out of things and you try to help people out, I think the man upstairs kind of watches out. So fortunately, a friend of mine, Mark Smithy, who was in my prepaid legal business from Michigan, called me, and I was at my sister-in-law's house. She had moved down, sold her home in Frederick, Maryland. She was an accountant, moved down here, and was a couple doors down. And I was working with her. She had a little arcade, and I was working with her, like I said, $10 an hour, doing everything we could, because we were this beautiful house, that we were a dream house, which we were going to lose. And I got a call from Mark. And you've probably been in a similar situation. Every time somebody calls you, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So he calls me about this. I was her house, and I answered the phone, and I'm trying to talk to her about something about the business that we were doing. I was working for her at the time. And he's rambling on. He's just yippee-skipping. He's jumping up and down. He's so excited about this juice. And, yeah, you drink the juice. You walk on water. He said a couple of the people he sold it to, I think they fluttered around a little bit, and I'm hearing all these stories and all this. And I said, Mark, that's great. That's wonderful. I'll get back to you later. And all of a sudden, yeah, good luck with it, and I hope you make it. Sounds good to me. And I hung up the phone. Well, my sister-in-law had some inflammation and a sore knee, and she hates doctors. So she's going crazy about this juice. And what are you talking about this juice? Well, and she's going to ask me questions. I said, Nancy, it's something. It's crazy. It's the same story. I said, your house is paid for. They're going to repossess my house, and I don't care about no stupid juice right now. And she kept on and on and on. So finally I called Mark, and I said, sent me a bottle of juice. And that probably wasn't the best time, because, I mean, when Cindy came home working, I think half the glass in the front door went out when she slammed the door and said, you're getting back in another thing, but that we just about lost everything we've got, plus then you're bringing a relative in. So I really, at that time, Sandy, I don't know, like when you and Ed, I told you said you had beans and Franks, and then last time I talked to you, you said you didn't even have the beans. So, I had to borrow the money, and I figured, well, just to get her off my back, she was going to lend me a couple $100 to get started, and I'd called up a few people, and I'm working 10, 12 hours a day, and I call somebody out, and I say, hey, I got this wonderful juice. Oh, I can't drink juice like that. Gives me the diarrhea or something. Or I can't. The last time I had some product like that, my wife's ready to divorce me, and I'd hang up, and I'd run over and get somebody to service them, and I'd make calls and do everything, because you're doing things out of desperation. You're trying to save your home. You're not worried about this or that. And I started, the more I got the juice out, the more people started saying, well, I like this. I want another bottle. And I just said, this ain't going to work. I'm not going to run all over Jackson Township or all over Jacksonville, Florida, delivering bottles of juice. And before you know it, it took off. And it's nice when you have your spouse's support. And Cindy's always been there for me. I couldn't have done half the things I've done in any of the businesses without her. But I'll be honest with you, she wasn't too supportive at that time. I mean, we signed a $35 application, and it said Steve Hall, Steve Hall, Steve Hall. My first check was $88, and let me tell you, she wasn't too enthusiastic about that. And it got up to maybe a couple hundred, and then she called in there, and she added her name. It was Steve and Cindy Hall. And then she found out the difference of Steve and Ann or Steve and Orr. And she called back in and said, make it Steve or Cindy Hall. And I don't know, Sandy, honestly, if my name's even on the check anymore. I get a small allowance weekly, but enough to play for golf, but that's it. But
You're too funny. Something happened to you. And we know that it's almost like a miracle. So I'm going to show a picture that you shared with me of what happened way back in March of not so long ago. What happened, and how did the juice help you?
Well, like Grace kindly introduced you as one of our mentors, there's been a lot of money made in Zango. It's a wonderful company. Like you mentioned, we did $1 billion in 60 months. Well, like I said, our checks jumped from $88 to, I think, 24 months to over 30-some thousand and kept climbing. So sometimes you take things for granted. And one time I was down one of my 20Ks, Phil Ballard in Tampa, and I happened to be looking around and kind of was more just playing golf and holding meetings and doing some things, but kind of got a little lackadaisical. And I looked in and said, Zango has paid out $1 billion. And I started thinking about that. And I said, you know, selfishly, I play golf, I enjoy golf and stuff like that, but I really, really love the people. I love the sincerity. I love the honesty. And a lot of people, like Bob Smith, one of his favorite things is people are down on things that they're not up on. And that's an amazing thing. And if more and more people knew what we know and the people on this phone call know, employers would have a hard time finding employees. So I came home and I told Cindy, I said, we were lucky, and she said, no, I think somebody else was looking after us. And for some reason, one night I went to get out of bed, and I don't know what happened. And I think the man upstairs said, this isn't working out right. I helped you out when you was losing your house. I introduced you to this product here. You've done well with the product, but it's supposed to be paying it forward, and you're not working it the way you want to work, and I'm not really the brightest bulb in town. So when I fell out of the bed, he smashed my head into the wall, and I just passed out, blood everywhere. They rushed me to the hospital, and one of Cindy's favorite products has always been pericarp. And my daughter, they didn't know what happened. My daughter was on the plane the next day, flew in from California. My son came up from southern Florida, and they were at the hospital. When I woke up, I was unconscious. And she started putting pericarp on. And within the matter, you can see the days in there, within the matter of a week or 2 weeks or something like that, there was a difference. And, it did a great job. It didn't do improvement for looks or anything like that, but it helped me out with all the bruises.
And, of course, with good work ethic and always committed to never-ending improvement, you are now blessed to be part of the multi-million-dollar club, not just the $1 million club, all because of this magical, botanical, patented Zango juice. And I know we have limited time, Steve, but, with your extraordinary success from desperation to absolute extraordinary success, can you share with the listeners maybe a couple business tips that you've learned over time that can help them not only experience optimal wellness, but also control of their finances and the way they could live life the way they want it to be instead of the way it has to be?
Well, Sandy, as you well know, and a lot of the ones that I mentioned earlier on the call, if they've experienced anything, they know. It's that I think people in this business, they try to, a lot of times they say, well, I can't get involved in that kind of business because it's selling. And then they get in the business and they oversell. And I think they need to spend more time sorting. I also have and a lot of us have had a mentor with Bob Smith says you can't, you can't change people. If you could, we'd all have perfect children. So, I mean, if you talk to enough people out there, like I like to play golf. And, I mean, I had a business partner one time, the last time we came in on 18th hole, he took his golf bag and everything, threw it in the lake. Now, I can go back to him and say, let me tell you, Norm, golf courses are more beautiful today, and the birds chirp. They play different songs. He doesn't want to play golf. It'd be easier to find somebody that wants to play golf. And a couple quick things, just like Jim Rohn, another mentor of myself and Ray Heron and stuff. Ray always talks about. He always talks about reasons come first and answers come second. And then people are. This is probably my favorite one, and maybe in closing or whatever, is one of my mentors that I still talk to all the time that changed my life around, and literally did change my life around by being involved in network marketing. And I'm really proud to be a network marketer. I have more time freedom, just like you and Ed do, than any business professional. I have accountants and lawyers I deal with, friends of mine, personal friends and that. They don't have nearly the time. But a friend of mine said, you wouldn't care as much about what people thought about you if you only realized how seldom they do. So if you spend more time sorting instead of trying to sell or convincing, you're going to build a business. Anybody can if they just have the stick to, and they stay with it, and they have a good company. And we know we have a great company, and the picks and the juice, I think that's the greatest movement that Zango's made since they came out with the juice itself.
It's interesting, Steve, as I talk to people, so often they have no clue about the huge tax advantages of a home-based business. If for no reason other than that, to be able to save anywhere from $300 to $500 a month is, people can fog a mirror. They can do this. But share with the listeners why you really believe our Zango business is achievable, doable for anyone, whether they want to make maybe an extra $500 a month, $1,000 a month, or $5,000 or more. I mean, it's all just a matter of doing and sharing. So why do you also think this is so doable for the average person who's never been able to achieve success? Because many people have tried network marketing, and many people, I believe, miss the mark for a couple reasons. And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, like I said earlier when we first started, you have to have the right stars coming together. And obviously everybody that's on this call loves this product. And they're going to take this product for eons. And there's been, when you sit down with somebody, I ask people a lot of times, I say, you seem like a relatively intelligent person. And I've never had anybody challenge that and say, no, I'm not really that bright. But I say, if we took an unknown product that 99% of the people in the Western world didn't know anything about, and we did $1 billion, and sometimes they don't relate to it, so I say $1,000 million in 60 months. You've got more scientific research. I know we can't make claims, and I'm not making any claims. More scientific research. Go to PubMed, study the product. People in our country today, we're a drug and chemical society. We need more products like Zango. The PICS, which is just going crazy, just like Grace said earlier, we can design them according to your problems, add that to this product. So with the health challenges today, I remember Jerry Hines, I know he's on the call, Jerry mentioned something, sometimes it's like the forest and trees, you don't realize what an opportunity to have. And he said, I know the early 1900s we weren't around, but we were consuming about 2 pounds of sugar a year. Now we're averaging between 180 to 200 pounds of sugar a year. And you go out and look at some of the people out there. Now tell me why they need this product. And you need this for your health. And once you lose your health, you've lost everything. Monetary things, everybody thinks money's important. It's like air and oxygen, that. But it's one of the least important things. Fellowship, friendship, helping people, self-interest, it doesn't fit in this program. But if you drop the self-interest and share the product, it's a wonderful product. You love it. There's tens of thousands, millions of people in 40-some countries that love this product. So if you could do it, it's not how many times you get knocked down, Sandy. It's how many times you get up. And I've got a lot of admiration for you and Carolyn and Collie and Ray and Rich, all the ones, Grace, the people that's went through that, and they're making it with this product. So you tell me why you can't. So you can say, like Henry Ford said, I can't do this or I can do this. You're right either way.
It's interesting, and I don't know who takes claim for stating health is wealth. And a little tidbit of what I always ask someone, would you agree nothing is more important than living longer, healthier? Because I don't care if you're Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, anybody. If you don't have your health, then the money doesn't mean anything. And I think if you really want to have a better quality of health, and I tell people this, if there's only one supplement you can afford, it would be Zango juice. Absolutely. And then, of course, you add the pick your picks and add it to it so that you can, when people look at you, they're going to say, I can't believe your energy. I can't believe that you have the energy of someone 10, 20 years younger. So, Steve, thank you and Cindy so much for all you do. You're an inspiration to everyone. And thank you for sharing your story. And tonight, this will be recorded, And if you go to facebook.com/Zango United, you'll see on the bottom here, there'll be something called notes, and I'll be posting the recording there that you'll be able to copy and paste the link and share it with people on your team who maybe want to re-listen to the call or share it with others. In addition to that, there's a new shopping cart in our back office. I'm so excited. It is so simple. And when I first logged in to the shopping cart, I didn't realize that anyone could go to the shopping cart and it shows the retail price. Once you have your ID number and you log in, then you get the wholesale pricing. And be sure to be up on the new Power Up packages. And we don't have time to go into all of the training on how you can make some serious bonuses with these Power Up packages. And there is recordings. Just reach out to your upline support system and they'll tell you where to find the recording that Zango did explaining the bonuses and each of the package options. And I just did a little bit here as to what is involved in those packages. And the details, again, are at Zango.com. And I believe this is still on sale this month of July, the Mangosteen collection. Oh, my God. Steve talked about the pericarb oil. And I have to tell you, pure mangosteen. I don't know how many mangosteens it takes to even create one bottle of this pericarb oil, but it is a true anti-inflammatory, antifungal, and I pour it on my face. I'm talking about pouring it on my face because it makes such a difference, and it is on sale. In addition to that, our Faveo is in transition, and I had Eddie buy me so much of this stuff because it was the first time, and I'm no youngster, that I was able to take off over 25 pounds and keep it off for years. It's got to be at least 4 years. And we stocked up on so much of this stuff. In fact, my grandson, when he was visiting, he said, "Why do you have so much of that Faveo in the garage?" And I had to explain because they're in transition, and I'm terrified the new product isn't going to taste as good as this protein shake. It's like ice cream. It's so yummy. So if you haven't tried it yet, buy a half a dozen or a dozen bags before they go away. We also have the Aries on sale, the complete package, as well as the eye renewal concentrate, everything, and especially the collagen. You know, it's interesting. I did not know that we lose about 1 or 2% of collagen a year starting in our mid-20s. That affects our brain, our heart, our bone, everything in our body is affected by maintaining collagen, and it tastes yummy. It doesn't, I mean, and it's micronized, and there's videos at ZangoPowerOf3.com. You can check out all the videos and the trainings there. We have a new product sheet that was just published this month. It's about 4 pages long, so you can get all the newest prices and packages that's available. August is coming up, and some of us hopefully are going to be on the trip to Cancun. Like my son says, nothing is as sweet as traveling first class and somebody else paying the bill. I mean, think about it. When you talk to people, if you have all the money and the time in the world, what would you want to do? And the first thing out of their mouth is travel. So imagine Zango taking you to places around the world. I know I think it was February, we went to Cancun and we were at the Now Sapphire Resort. It was 3 $388 a day plus tax. And this summer, next month, we are going to the Jade Resort in Cancun. 4.5 stars, elegant. And next year, in 2017, they haven't announced it yet, but my suggestion is learn the qualifications that will run until next May so you can be on the trip with your significant other. And the more points you get over and above, they actually give you to help purchase your airline tickets. So again, Steve, thank you so much for being a part of our inspiration, knowing that sometime life throws us a curve. And I think there isn't anyone who hasn't experienced challenges. And I remember 23 years ago reading a book by Dr. Scott Peck called The Road Less Traveled. And I believe it was the first chapter. It might have even been the first page where he made a bold statement. Life is difficult. And if you know that, and you know challenges and obstacles will happen, you need to figure out how to get around them, over them, or under them so that you can live the life that you want to live. Because if you commit to your Zango business as if your life was hanging in the balance, I guarantee you you're on the road to a better life. Because life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change and choice. Life is all about choices. So tomorrow is yesterday. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And I remember years ago meeting a woman on the airplane, and we were sharing photographs of our grandchildren. And I made a comment like, I can't believe these are my grandchildren when it seems like yesterday my boys were that age. And she looked at me and she said, you know, Sandy, life is really like a roll of toilet paper. And I couldn't imagine what in the world was this lady going to say. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. So what are you waiting for? I don't know about what you believe, but my ride on this merry-go-round, I want it to be the best ever, even though I think I'm going to come back again. But this ride is going to be the way I choose it to be. Circumstances are not going to determine my lifestyle. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Steve and Cindy, thank you for being our special guests tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. And with that, we're going to say good night and have a marvelous, marvelous week. Go out and share the Zango story and give lots of samples and let people choose their picks so they too can feel optimally wonderful. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Steve. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.